sisters. We're happy and we're singing and we're go.
You're listening to Help a Sister Out podcast.
I'm Benelia.
I'm Tay. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Help a sister out.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Hey y'all.
What up? It's episode
14.
14 up in this thing. Ain't going nowhere. I wish I was a cheerleader, but I don't know how.
You could say I don't care. Never mind.
I ain't gonna get into this, but you supposed to been make me a 16.
Girl, where the money at? Run me the check.
Wow,
Run me the
Benny.
check.
As if being your friend ain't enough.
Girl, it ain't. It ain't being my girl.
But I'm excited. I've been wanting to, talk to you, check in with you, see how you doing, see how you feeling. What's up with it?
Girl, I'm tired. Today I'm
tired. Like with 4 eyes, or tired like
5.
I'm motherfucking tired.
Yeah, like tired. Like I'm tired. I'm really tired today. How you feel?
I actually, now that I'm off work, I feel great. When I was at work, I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I caught myself trying to work out early. I went to go work out at 5 this morning. Because usually I would do that, but that was my first time doing this since I ain't worked out that early in like 9 or 10 months. Usually I go in the evening.
That's a long time.
I know.
Try to get back into a habit.
Yeah, I know. But now that my schedule has changed at work, I have to still incorporate this working out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, no team, no excuses. But your girl was feeling that 12-hour, what time is it? I'm ready to go today. But now that I'm here, I'm such an energy person. Now that I'm here with you,
I'm happy.
I feel a little good. I feel a little better. And I'm about to probably go to a networking event later on. So let's get this party started.
Yeah, like an outfit. I chose her pants. Yeah, I chose her pants.
Y'all, they can't see my pants. You ain't choose my pants. You approved my pants.
I did.
You approved them.
I chose the pants. All right, so little sister motivation.
Yes. So my sister motivation, because I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready to give it to y'all. Is know your worth. I feel like it's easier said than done, but really define what that looks like to you, because sometimes you can find yourself a little lonely. No, on some realness, no. But, it could be in variations, even with a job. I'm just saying my motivation today is know your worth and add tax. You like that for the kids?
I saw it on a t-shirt.
I know, I think I did too. I'm not an originator, but I'm an original.
You gotta, stuff like that is good to go around, because you have to hear it more than once sometimes.
Period. And you gotta go through it more than once too.
Mm-hmm.
Certain situations, you go back to old habits, and you have to be like, baby girl, we wasn't gonna do this today. Forever. No more. We're not tolerating this. Set your boundaries. And that's that on that. And you set your boundaries with yourself, with the less version of yourself. You set the boundaries to not go back to that. I'm not saying with nobody. You gotta set boundaries with people, but set your boundaries with yourself and say,
at this point, I've had enough.
I had enough with your shit self.
Mm-hmm. Me?
No, I'm saying I had enough with your.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like me.
Yeah. Who, me? Yes. Shitty Taylor. Be better.
I feel like my sister motivation is to don't be afraid to say no. Yeah, don't be afraid to say no. We don't say no enough sometimes, just people, because a lot of us are people pleasers. We don't realize it. It's like a thing where we were all almost raised the same way, almost. Mm-hmm. But don't be afraid to say no, because when you say no, sometimes you speak up for yourself, especially when you have that little inkling feeling deep down where you don't want to do something, but you just feel pressure and nobody's pressuring you. You're the one. Just say no, and you'll feel better. And then also be okay with not explaining, having to explain yourself. Sometimes you just gotta accept it for what it is. I said no. Okay.
And that's that on that, period. Because I've learned that as far as being people pleasers, we've always been taught the golden rule, which the golden rule.
Don't ask me any questions if I said, because I said so. But
that's not the golden rule.
I'm talking about like in the sense of how we all came from the same household, where it's like we've all kind of just been like, yes men. Like I have to please you. I have to do.
That's what I was getting at. Was the golden rule. So I'm saying with the
you're agreeing with. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying with the golden rule, we're often taught how to please others more so than we're taught what it looks like to please ourselves. So sometimes saying no as an adult, it feels foreign because you were a child for so long and now you're becoming an adult and you can make for everybody it gets quicker. Some people know how to say no when they 18, 16, they've been saying no their mind their whole life. But I'm saying like we're still learning how to say no because we haven't had that much practice in it because we've been always a child and you don't say no to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Easier said than done. I will say that though. However, no.
Yeah, that's my
say
super motivation. Just say no. Just be like, nah.
You gotta say no, like off of
and no is the same in every language. That's what's beautiful about the word no.
You gotta say no, like off the Planet of the Apes when Caesar was like, no, Caesar home. That was about 5-0 at the end of that. No, 5. Caesar home.
How many times have you watched the movie, Taylor?
That was a funny movie. Me and my cousin, we was watching. We went to movies to go see that. I missed the movies. I miss going to the movies.
I don't know. I'm about to have me a little movie night on Halloween. All right, well, so we do have an icebreaker. The icebreaker is when you are upset or mad, do you prefer to be left alone or would you like to be around others to make you happy? Explain your reasoning.
Okay, teacher. So that's so proper.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on what I'm mad or upset about. However, I don't know how to stay mad for long, which is why I stay forgiving people. But I would prefer to be around people because I don't know. I'm by myself a lot. It just depends on what I'm mad about. Like if you didn't make me mad and you know how to not catch attitude because I got an attitude, then I'll be around you because you're gonna make me like not think about it no more. Because I'm gonna be focused on the fact that like whatever made me mad, whatever I'm mad about, it's not in my current space. And I'm just more energy. So like if you are good energy, then yeah, of course I would want to be around others to make me happy. But I don't depend on people for my happiness. So don't get it twisted.
I feel like I prefer to be by myself when I'm mad because I just feel like I can deal better with assessing my thoughts and my emotions. I'm able to basically pinpoint why I feel the way I feel without the opinions of others. Because even if I'm mad, and let's say I'm around people or whatever the case may be, it's just like, it's just I'm either lacking a certain emotion or I'm feeling too much of a certain emotion. So it's not really, I don't feel like it's a safe place for me to be around people when I'm mad because it's just like, I'm trying to regain focus and get my core back into a line, basically.
But if you guys want to share what you do,
give us some tips. What do y'all do to keep from being mad and upset? Like and also explain like your reasoning behind why why do you prefer to be alone and why do you prefer to be around others?
Yeah, we'll put it on our
social media. Follow us.
Social media at HelpASistaOutPodcast on IG. Mm-hmm. So, one of my favorite things is to help a sister out. And so we do a segment called Help a Sister Out where you can email us at HelpASistaOutPodcast at HelpASistaOutPodcast@gmail.com, or you can always slide into them DMs on IG. You can do it on mine at Yo What's Good Tay, or you can do it on our actual IG page at Help a Sister Out Podcast. So this one is actually a little different. I feel like it's very relatable for those that are still working during these times. So a sister said, I've been working at my job for almost 3 years now. Since the pandemic, everything has slowed down. Cuts have been made, but also promotions have been given. I believe I have the qualifications to also be promoted. However, I'm very nervous to ask. Any advice? We both done got some promotions, Benny. What can you say?
I feel like don't be afraid to ask for what you believe you deserve. And also if you don't ask, you can be overlooked. And nothing's gonna hurt with being asked. And one of those things again, the word no. It's okay to hear the word no, but don't be afraid. I think you should shoot your shot. Especially if you feel like you qualified, go ahead. Because wouldn't you prefer a more qualified person get the position over somebody who lacks what you can probably offer? What do you think?
So I think the most important thing is always find ways to stand out. So if other people have been promoted, maybe not necessarily compare, but see like what are these people doing, so you can know like what your boss or essentially what your job is looking for. And I always check in, and I'm very vocal on like why I'm here, because yes, I'm here on y'all's clock, but I'm also here on my time. And so for me, I have to let the person know like, hey, I've been really interested about this position. Like, what do you think are some things that I can do? I actually did that myself. About a couple of weeks ago, I messaged my head boss and was like, hey, I just found out about this new position that you guys are doing right now. And I spoke with X, Y, and Z. It's something I'm really interested in. Can you give me some tips on like what other skills I can be working on? Or, put that bug in their ear. But, never stay anywhere too long. If you don't feel like you haven't got what you deserve, then maybe either considering one, setting up that meeting to say, like, I need this to happen. Or two, figuring out, like, where else do you see yourself working at if it's not necessarily there. I hope that helped out.
And 3 years is a long time of dedication. So if you've been somewhere for 3 years, you've shown loyalty, which a lot of times, a lot of companies aren't seeing that with their employees
6 months
nowadays.
is loyalty. 90 days is loyalty.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you don't be afraid to hop out there and take that opportunity. See what you can do with that.
Yes, sir.
Don't be nervous.
Well, it's easier said than done. I think sometimes you get nervous because there's an expectation that's going to be placed upon you, and you don't want to be told that, like, nah, bruh, you ain't the one. People fear rejection. I fear rejection.
But that's because we live in a society where a lot of people have been, given like the Gold Star Awards and stuff just for participation. They're not used to rejection. So, but like, don't be nervous. Like, be confident in your action of going forward with asking, and then also because that'll speak numbers. Like if you come in there being timid and afraid, sometimes you can read it, but the moment you walk up and you ask or whatever it is you do it with confidence, and also hold that mentality as well.
And one time my friend, which we were, because I talk about my work, I talk about where I want to be, how I make my money with my friends, and so we were talking about it, and this guy, he was just like, like what, we were like, what, he was telling me about this position. He's like, well, I said, I don't really have that much experience, and I was like, sometimes it's not about that, it's about dedication and interest. And so even if you are wanting to be promoted and you don't feel like you have the skills, you can just say like, hey, I did my research, like they got YouTube now. Use your network, people that you work with. Ask them, like, how did you get in this position? How did you start here? Where do you see yourself going? Like, what do you like about the company? Because people that's been at their job for like 10 or 15 years is like, baby, why are you still here? So I don't know about, put me in on game. I know I can't see your pay stub, but like, tell me more. Have those conversations. That doesn't cost. You know what I'm saying? That's free. And people love to talk about themselves.
And also, it depends on the company you're working for, too.
Every time I say to me, what's this and that? Okay, no, I'm just.
Yeah, girl, you just been going on and on. Is this you? Did you right? But no, seriously, like, see if your company has some type of program or something. Like the company that I work for, they offer something where you're able to partner up with different leaderships and stuff. And people who are in like supervisor position or manager position, they were in this program at one point in time. So just see what opportunities you can see there, or what can you learn about it, because even showing interest in that basically is like a green light bulb. Like, okay, this person is showing like true interest, or they want to take accountability and they want to move forward. It just puts you on like the radar in a good way versus not being active in things that the company may be doing. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get into these trending topics. This is actually some good news. It was just shown that on CNN that Killer Mike, and if you don't know who Killer Mike is, he's a rapper, activist, all around dope individual. He has created he didn't necessarily create, but he is a part of the development of a Black-owned bank here in Atlanta, Georgia, called Greenwood. It was created by Bounce TV founder Ryan Glover, and well, I guess Killer Mike was on it, but I heard on the radio he said that he's not like a financial investor, but he's more of like a advisor, if that makes sense. So he's like more so guiding. But they've been trying to like build, raise revenue, and they've already raised more than $3 billion since June. And a lot of that is in response to the George Floyd
it picked up.
passing. Yeah. And so they started what was called pre-enrollment, where you can go to the website. Was that your phone?
It wasn't.
Because you told me to make sure my phone was off.
No
But
phone.
they started pre-enrollment, and they've had tens of thousands of people sign up so far. The bank doesn't open, I want to say, until January. It doesn't open until next year. But they've already started like what they call it's like their waiting list for those that want to open up a Greenwood account. I think that is so dope. So it's all digital. It's a digital bank. It's kind of like Chime.
Mm-hmm. I love a lot of things are going to be digital now. And I think a lot of companies need to give it the time because you're going to be looking at these models out here.
A lot of places are, because they have like Zelle.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's bank to bank.
But I'm just saying it's just easier to open a virtual account.
It is.
And then what Greenwood is based off of, especially with 2020, we've been having a lot of civil rights movements throughout the last, I say decades. There's been moments that's been sparking. But 2020 has definitely been a headway as far as it's just been a lot more things voiced and brought to attention. So like the name Greenwood stems from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the fact that their Wall Street was in Greenwood. So it's just like they're bringing it back. Things come full circle. So it's just like,
so that's important to do your history,
and it's paying homage to look what we had, or look what we lost, and look what we bring it back, or look what we can do. So I like that. And we do need financial institutions. We need a lot more things that are Black owned, to where the Black dollar it can come back into our community, because that's the problem, as far as when it comes to the Black dollar, it don't stay in our hands that long. It's by the time we had it, it's gone, and somebody else is capitalizing off of us, and it's like we don't have anything to show for it. It's not that many Black businesses. I really think it's a good idea for them to start a Black bank.
I do too. I hope that they eventually do get a storefront, because the issue people run into with digital banks is that you don't have the ability to do certain things like checks, money orders. Well, I can't really speak on checks because I don't have a digital bank, but I don't think that they can do checks or money orders or like cashier's checks. Like there is some limitation to it, but the goal would be for it to grow into one of these, Fortune 500s. But speaking of bringing things back full circle, if you don't know that Mariah Carey, she recently released her memoir.
I saw the cover of the book on somebody's YouTube, and I was like, is that a Mariah Carey book on his desk? That's crazy.
Yeah. So a memoir is where like someone will, document their life and share like some of their memories. And I believe hers is just all on like audio, right? Or is it like an actual book?
It's an actual book. It's an actual book.
Okay. So Mariah Carey once had her own record label at one point, which I never knew she had her own record label. And I guess one of the groups that she started that was the first to sign up through her record label was Allure. It's like a female group. And Mariah spoke about her record label and just shared the history and memories that had kind of came about with that. The Allure felt some type of way because they were not at all mentioned in her memoir. And so they just was like, damn, you ain't gonna even bring us up. You ain't even gonna mention us. But to be honest with you, the way that they reacted by, going on social media and having a rant, I wouldn't put them in there either, because clearly them type of people that would probably sue you and be like defamation of character, or she told the story wrong. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like they have a space to feel like, why didn't you include us? Because we were your first group and we looked at you like a sister and you just act like we don't even exist.
I feel like it's one of those things like what about me type of thing.
Woe is me.
Yeah, so I don't know, because I really feel like I should read the book just to see like what does she mention about the thing, because if she's just talking about the label itself, if I didn't mention anybody else. Why do I have to mention you?
She did mention other people.
But it sounds to me like they didn't have the best relationship with her anyway. It was 50-50 because I was getting mixed signals.
Right.
One minute they kind of made it sound like they were sharing like a lot of, like personal moments with her and all that. But at the same time, they making it seem like people who worked at the label was like, oh, you guys are basically like wallpaper, like almost if you were non-existent.
Yeah.
So, and then also it only lasted a year, and then you said that after it ended, Mariah treated y'all like nothing happened. So, did you really have that,
that kind of relationship?
And it goes back to where people just, probably look a little too deep into situations than what it is. It was a business, and y'all making it personal type of thing. So, I don't know. I really feel like I'm going to read the book just to see, like, just that part, just to be like,
yeah,
y'all kind of tripping. But I mean, it's one of those things like, what about me? I've had one of those "what about me" moments where it's just like, I did, but
hello,
I wouldn't.
Do you remember me?
Yeah, like I wouldn't really say something about it. I would basically just be like keeping it to myself and talking about it with my group members, like, hey, how do you guys feel? But I wouldn't went to social media about it. That's not anybody's business, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again,
and it's like, honestly, it's like, okay, what do you want? Because all you did was, I guess you wanted to be seen. And it's like, you got your little bit of fame, a little bit of likes, but I would not be telling somebody like, oh, you didn't mention me. Like, yeah, I feel you being excluded. Like, everybody wants to be included. No one wants to feel like they didn't matter. But I think, like, it's been years. At some point, you got to take it for what it is. And if you really, truly feel like that relationship was something that was worth salvaging, or you felt like you played like a role, then you would have continuously reached out. Because it's not like she don't know who y'all are. But, Mariah Carey.
She probably hard to get in touch with.
No, Mariah Carey's not the one who'd be like,
who's that?
Decline. Or I'm going to get back with them later. And that person that'd be like, oh, I called you. You did.
Also, like you said, they're the type of, I really don't know too much about them individually. I do remember the group because I just saw that video probably last month, all cried out. And I'm like, I ain't heard this song in a minute. But I said that to say, had she put them in the book, it probably would have been something like, oh, you spoke about us without our permission type thing. So it's just like, you can't win for losing. She probably didn't have anything memorable to say something. It's based off her memories. Like, what did she remember? What stood out? What was important to her? So, again, like, when don't nobody better come checking for me. Like, people be taking other people's stuff too seriously. Like, it's her book. Write your own book. Talk about your experience when you was on the label.
That's true. Like, be more creative. Don't just rely on the main person, because it's like, y'all could have. I don't know that group. I don't know if they got signed to someone else or like what they did to continuously pursue your career. But just because one thing didn't work out, don't grow bitterment and resentment towards it. Find other opportunities. Like, you still got that far for a reason. So there's definitely some sort of talent there. Especially if Mariah Carey signed you, because baby got vocals.
Yeah, and they speak on people telling them that, calling them bitter over the years, but things like this make you seem bitter. So it's just like, what you put out there is what you're going to get back. So if you putting out something that is coming across as being bitterness, people are going to say something like, well, that's what it seemed like, even if you're saying that it's not the case. So yeah, I don't know. It was a little, not class, it was tasteless. That's how I feel. It was a tasteless thing to do, to put it on social media. It definitely could have been something handled or spoken about behind closed door, but you wanted the attention, and they put an account on private. So it's like, you knew what you was gonna get. Have you Mariah fans up there with like Nicki Minaj fans? Like, they don't give a damn. They will stand up for Mariah Carey. Like that, she right there. Like, don't talk about Mariah. They love Mariah Carey, so y'all knew what y'all was doing. You got what you wanted, which was the attention that you didn't get in the book. So that's it on that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So speaking of people just talking about how they feel, Megan Thee Stallion has been really voicing her opinion, especially speaking out for Black women. She's been doing that consistently, but ever since what happened to her and Tory Lanez has came out to public, she's been advocating more heavily. So she did a post with New York Times speaking about basically the advocacy of being a Black woman and why she is speaking so much and heavily about it. Do you have anything you want to touch base on?
Yeah, so Megan Thee Stallion wrote up an article. It was a really well written article. And she also did a video. It was about maybe 2-3 minutes long. And she included all her friends in it, talking about why she speaks up for Black women and what does it mean to be a woman of color. I thought it was really dope for her to use her platform for that, although some people was like, oh, now she want to talk about. But it's like, Megan has always, I feel like I'm like her, but I think people got to understand this girl is 24 years old. She is so young. Although she made rap, she got older people who like her. She's still a baby. She still got room to grow and learn. I at one point wanted to be friends with everybody, wanted to be cool with everybody, but you grow and learn those lessons as you go along. However, it was a part in there that really spoke to me on why she speaks up to Black women. And she said, there's not much room for passionate advocacy if you are a Black woman. And she was just speaking about how, like, we gonna always fight for ours. When it come to voting, we're gonna be out there in the front field. She's like, but we know that in the end, we're gonna have to still go back and lick our own wounds. Nobody is going to come and save us. But she spoke on, like, what does it mean to be a woman of color? And I think for me, if I had to choose, like, that definition of what it means to be a woman of color, I would say to be a woman of color is to be, I know, right? Vibrant. I think when you think of color, you think of, like, something that pops, something that catches your eye. And I feel like everything we do as women of color has always been entertaining. I mean, look at our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a break your neck type of thing. The way we do, the things we do with our hair, everybody might not like it, but baby, we the only one that's going to be able to get our hair to stand up straight and do what we want or do whatever we want. Like, I think everything about being a woman of color is dope. And I'm just, I wouldn't want to be no other color but Black, or, you know, a woman of color.
No, I agree. I feel like it's like the fact that she's having to explain herself is just, it speaks volumes. Like, the fact people are, like, offended.
Yeah, people were kind of offended
about.
Well, they were talking about the Tory Lane situation.
Yeah, when you Black, you just gonna be offending everybody. Like, that's just given. But, you know, I do think people need to take her more seriously. They're not taking her situation very seriously. They're questioning, you know, her intentions and stuff. And it's like, she's a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to point holes and find a reason to basically make it turn around where she's, you know, the crazy, angry Black woman. And she hasn't portrayed anger. Even when she was telling her story, she was not once did I see, like, you know, anger in the sense of, I'm just mad just because. She was angry because of what had happened to her. And she had every right to be. And it's like, y'all are trying to take that away from her. Like, she doesn't have a right to. You get shot and come back and tell me how you feel about that. Yeah. If you just gonna be like, you know, patty cake with the person that shot you.
Patty cake.
And the fact that she was trying to still protect him after he shot her. And, like, you know, so it's just like, Black women are always having to fight battles, not even against the world, but within the community, because it's just like, dang, you can't win for losing. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Yeah.
No, but thanks, Megan. You my girl. I mean, I seen her in concert before. Like, she's so dope.
I mean, I really thought this was going to be the year I was going to have a hot girl summer. I'm going to try again next year.
Girl, yeah, this year don't count. Yeah. Ain't nobody having a summer.
I've been seeing some people have hot girl summers, but, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like, next year.
The poor people are.
All right, next year it'll be hot. I'll be a hot girl summer. But
real hot girl shit. I like that. I like real hot girl shit.
I try to say, do that. Yeah, shout out to Megan. And I'm always root for her because she's rooting for everybody, whether y'all realize it or not, even y'all.
Go, Megan. Go, Megan. Go, Megan.
We should have her on the show.
Go, Norbit. Go, Norbit.
We should have her on the show. Megan, if you're watching this, come on, girl.
I don't think I'm one of them. Okay, never mind.
What?
I didn't want to be like one of them fans that's like, oh my god, my best friend.
We're not gonna be like that.
I hate when people be like that.
She gonna sit here. She can sit between us because I ain't got time to be fighting about who she gonna sit beside. So she can sit between.
Ain't nobody gonna fight.
I can see you doing some, like,
girl, no.
I can see look in your face and everything. I can just picture it.
She is a child. I am not about to be that upset about. Okay, I'm not the one who's gonna be like starstruck.
No, but she said I did go to her.
I did, but that was work.
Oh, you was working, girl. You was back there red carpet pipping.
No, this was in Ohio. I know no red carpets out there.
Um,
Or when people come to Ohio, it really be like they come to perform and then they go. It don't be like how you would
Let's
think
throw a
it
party.
would be. Yeah, like they might have girl, Chris
club.
Brown. Chris Brown was supposed to perform in Columbus. Literally, doors open. People coming from everywhere, from different parts of surrounding areas in Ohio. They canceled the show. They said he don't feel good. The very next day, he was in Chicago or something like that, or Cincinnati or something.
That's messed up.
I know, but it be stuff like that happening all the time out there. Like stuff will always get canceled. I don't know. I think it was more ticket sales, but I can't speak on that because I don't know. However, let's get into the next topic. So, y'all know Darius. What's his name on Family Matters?
I don't know the name of Family Matters.
Dang, whoever his name was. Now I'm upset. I'm gonna put a picture of his face right here so y'all can see. This guy. Right here. So his ex-wife had asked, like, do you think about your kids before y'all post stuff on social media and how it impacts them or not? That was more so in response to him posting Sydney Star, the transgender. She had did a freestyle and he had posted it saying like the undeniable Sydney Star, what's understood don't need to be explained, XOXOXO. But she commented on it, Sydney Star, and said, thanks, baby. I was trying to sound like her. Thanks, baby.
You can't sound like
thanks, Drake. And so they were corresponding between the posts, and people are like, does he know that she's transgender? And so he responded to it and said, haven't I always lived like most couldn't, and some say I shouldn't? We know most wish they could, but don't know how. Rock stars for life. For lifers.
Is he on drugs or something? Like, what does that mean?
Girl,
I do drugs. It's like saying I do drugs and I don't care. I'm gonna be alright.
Or like, just because he didn't really give a response to it. But I feel like those childhood stars that start off really early, they be just trying to be free. I think it reminds me of those whose parents are very strict, and then the kid gets to have that freedom.
I know somebody like that person.
Yeah, I
knew of somebody. I don't know him no more.
I don't know that man. That man is walking down the street right now. Sorry to this man.
Insert that meme right here, because that's
sorry to that man.
Sorry to that man.
But no, I really truly think that it's one of those scenarios where, but you can't get mad at someone for looking at her talent, because for a minute there she was struggling. I don't know if you ever watched her on Love and Hip Hop. It was like, what is this? This is not rapping. I don't know what she's doing.
I forgot she was on Love and Hip Hop. She done been on everything. She's really trying to get Sydney Star is chasing the check. She's trying to get
you see them auditions?
Yeah, she auditioned to be on Jocelyn's Cabaret.
Yeah, and Blueface. Blueface doing like a Bad Girls Club
Somebody
edition.
Just got their teeth knocked out on his show too.
Oh wow.
I'm like,
how do you feel about that? Do you think it's just for attention, or do you think that she don't know what else she could be doing? Because it's like, I can see you. It seems like it's a beg. When you say it's a beg, a plea, I'm a transgender, put me on your show, pick me.
So I feel like it is desperation at this point, because a lot of people get so caught up in like the hype in social media. They feel like if anybody's talking about them, I'm not doing something type thing. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she's trying to get in wherever she can fit in, and to like, up the ante. It's just like, well, what sets me apart from everybody else is I'm a transgender woman. I really feel like she should take more like, sensitive of just creating her own platform, because you are a transgender woman. Like, you already, you're black for one. So you already, stop asking everybody, create your own show. At this, she has a lot of personality too. So
yeah, that's true. I would say also let some opportunities come to you. But then it's like, it kind of goes back to our conversation last week when we were talking about OnlyFans and how we can't separate the whole like, oh, celebrities can't do it because of their celebrity. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can't get mad at her for still trying and auditioning for different opportunities. But it becomes so obvious when like you audition and people are looking at it like, kind of like how Young Jock, and it was like, Young Jock is doing Uber. So you really can't judge no one for like their hustle or how they want to live their life, because I don't run that bus, you drive that bus. Like my analogy.
I like it.
Thank you. So, but how do you feel about the whole response? Like, do you think about your kids before y'all post stuff on social media and how it may impact them or no? Or no?
I think people do need to pay attention to what they post, but at the same time, people need to have control over what their kids are seeing. Because I don't know. I have a thing. I don't have kids of my own, so when I see kids on social media with tablets and stuff in their hand, I just like, damn, I ain't had that growing up. You know?
Don't you gotta put your age when
you have to be 13 in order to have social media. So that's what just irks me sometimes when people are trying to have other people. But he's the father of the kid, so I do understand what she's saying. But at the same time, your kid ain't gotta really be on social media.
But I wonder, I wonder if it could be an option for them to create like a parental control. I don't know if they have that but I don't know how they would monitor that. Because, YouTube will say, is this child appropriate? But, Instagram isn't like that. You can just Google something and it's going to pop up. Social media is, you just Google something. They may be like, it's sensitive information, but they don't have it where it's like, this is not,
it's not censored.
Yeah, because it's something I think it's YouTube where if you don't have your age or if they know your age, they gonna block it.
It's YouTube because with YouTube, in order to, I don't know if it's mandatory, but in order to have a YouTube, you have to have a Google account. In order to have a Google account, you have to put your birthday.
Right.
So, but with Instagram, it's not like that.
Right.
Because anybody can make a Facebook page.
Do you think that Facebook, or do you think social media should create more of parental guidance or more of like parental access to certain things? Because
absolutely,
you can't help that. My thing is though, comment if you agree with that.
Especially if you're a parent, because I don't have any kids. But it's just like when I see like kids accidentally because I was a child once and I remember mistakenly going down the rabbit hole of the internet. This is when the internet was brand new, when there weren't any rules at all on the internet about what you can Google search, whatever the case may be. Goddamn, put a virus on the computer back in them days. With that being stated, you don't know what your kids are being subject to as far as when they are coming across things, and they're kids. Kids do things they don't have any business doing until somebody tell them why they shouldn't be doing and why it's not okay. So as a parent, you do need to be more involved, because that's the thing. Everybody else is so wrapped up in social media too. The kids ain't doing nothing but following suit. So if you ain't paying attention to your kid because you worried about everything on Instagram, it's like you can't be mad at what somebody is putting on their Instagram when you're not doing your job as a parent and supervising your kid and what they're doing, especially on social media when they can come across anything. I be watching all kinds of stuff, predators and stuff, DMing these kids and stuff, and it be fake, but it's still just like you have sickos out here, and it's more to that. But still, you as a parent, it is your job to supervise what your child is coming across and looking up and watching on social media. It's not my job. It ain't Taylor's job. It ain't nobody's job but your job. So they do need to create something to where parents can have control over what websites kids can have access to. And even if they have an Instagram, because Instagram has in their policy where if you are a parent and if your child is 13 of age, you still it has to be managed by the parent. So if your child is under the age of 13, you are supposed to be managing their account, not your child. Child can't even manage money. So you need to be managing their account, what they have access to, what they're seeing. You're going to be, it be booties and stuff popping up in the Explore feed now. Just for it don't even, how I remember whatever was in your Explore feed was based off of what somebody you follow like. It's not even based off suggestions anymore about what your followers and who you're following. It's just recommendations. So it's like, y'all need to be accountable. Don't just be blaming everybody. But in this case, because it is a parent, addressing another parent in the situation, I think it's more so speaking on your kids are going to look back one day and see the stuff that you're posting. So even then, it's just like as an adult, even though it's your page, still pay attention to what you're putting out there. It's going to come back and bite your ass one day. Your kid is not going to be a kid one day, and they're going to come to you like, let's talk about when you posted this or this, that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you explain yourself, especially to somebody that you love and you care about?
Yeah, I lost what I was about to even say. So
I went on the whole thing. No, because I don't know. It's I have nephews and nieces, so and they're always on their games and their tablets, but they don't be in their phones and stuff like that. To my sisters would tell them, okay, y'all need to put y'all stuff down. But a lot of kids don't do that. Like all day they have a phone in their hand. It's just like, you're 7. Why do you have a phone in your hand? You're not at school no more. You at home. Read a book. Go outside. There's other things to do. I would rather you play a video game. Just sit and watch YouTube all day. Watch somebody else open up a goddamn toy. You only play with toy like you.
That's really how it be though.
All right. So do you want to get into the main discussion?
Yeah. All right. So today we're going to talk about community. I think, we got Thanksgiving coming up. There's so many things going on within our community. And I think that even when we look at like Killer Mike and what he's doing, Megan and what she's doing, and us talking about like, even though you said that it's not my job, it's not your job. It's like, at what point do we kind of feel like we are obligated to give back to our community? So what does community mean to you?
Community means to me, when I think of community, I think of where I lay my head, and I think of my neighbors. And I think of just, I think that kind of sums it up. I just think about my surrounding area. Like, what do I know what's going on? Do I know what happened up the street? Am I a familiar face? If something was happening, can somebody pinpoint me like, oh, I know? Can somebody speak for me and advocate for me as a member of my community? That's what I think of when I think of community. Not just, it's a place for certain, but it's just like, what it resemble, like, what does it mean? Like, it means my community where I'm currently at, my community is always going to be the South Side. I'm from the South Side, so my community is always going to be that. But like currently now I'm living on the East Side of Atlanta. I definitely feel like, my presence in my community, I do want it to be known a little bit more, like, trying to, I remember.
But so community to you means?
It means it means involvement. It means presence.
But you said that it meant, I forgot what you said.
It's okay. Just go on to what it means. What do it mean to you?
No, okay. So you said community means where you are at that present time.
Where I lay my head. When I think of community, I think of where I lay my head and my neighbors. I think of my surrounding area. And that's what I think of. I think of, again, like the impact. Like,
when I think of community, I think of family. I think community isn't always someone you're related to. I think community is unity. I think it's us coming together as one. I don't think that that's just a particular color. I think that's, helping out at your local food pantry, donating clothes to Goodwill, just doing things like that to really help someone indirectly at times. I think it's very important to me. I've been the one to, like, every now and then I will try to go to a homeless shelter. I haven't found one here. But when I lived here before, oh my God, the homelessness in Georgia is crazy. The
homeless people out here are like, they kin to you.
It ain't even that. It's just, I've never seen so many people just laid out on the street. When I say laid out on the street, I mean, you could be going to CVS and there's somebody just sleep on the ground like they in their bed. And so I've done care packages, try to like get people to donate or make it more of an awareness. And then I'll whenever I can, my homeboy worked at the homeless shelter. So I would just go over there. Like at that point, I didn't really need, it's such a small city compared to Georgia. I'm sure Georgia's process is a little different, which is why I feel like I haven't taken the time to do what I feel like I want to do. But I do want to get more involved, like even be a part of like a board, like be a board member for a nonprofit organization. But when it comes to your community, do you feel a sense of loyalty, or do you sense like the need to be loyal to your community? Or do you ever feel like, I don't feel like I'm giving back more? Like, what do you think about that?
I definitely feel like this was the year where I realized I wanted to give back more. So I look at community in two different ways. I look at community like with the family aspect, and then also I look at it with the non-familiar aspect. So when the Black Lives Matter protests first kicked off, I definitely started analyzing what is the Black community like in today's age, and then also with hey sis, hey, I wanted to. That was the whole purpose of that. Like it's just like I wanted to bring a sense of community to people where it's just like we don't have to be blood related in order to relate to each other or support each other or have each other's back. And it's because I feel like there is a lack of sense of community nowadays because we're just so, not that we all so divided, it just seems like we're all so far away.
Or so selfish.
That too.
What can I get? Who looking out for me?
And so it's like, I wanted to find a way where we could basically help each other. But when I look at it from like a familial standpoint, it's just like, when my family has a Facebook page, and it's just like that's our way as a community. Like it's a birthday happening, we all gonna get together and do what we can do. Who need what? Who can bring what? It's just like that sense of belongingness, and you do want to feel like you. Everybody don't, but to a certain extent, you do want to feel like you belong to your family. But it's one thing when you feel like you can belong to somebody that's not your family. It doesn't have to be a family. You can create your own community.
Yeah.
And then like, around again earlier when Black Lives Matter movement started kicking off this year, started paying attention to like the signages that I was seeing on the side of the road, like, elect this sheriff and elect this person. Again, I live on a different side of town. It's like, I'm a part of this community now. So I do need to know like, what's happening and what's going on. So yeah, like I feel like I'm becoming more loyal now, and it's just to my like outside community, especially when it did something to me when I was driving down the street and seeing my community on the side of the road, and a lot of them did not look like me, holding up signages in support of me being Black and my Blackness. And it's like, wow, I live in a good community, because if you go elsewhere, and we in the dirty South, it ain't nothing but Trump signs in people's yard. You don't see that in my community. So I'm loyal to my community because I feel like my community be loyal to me. Like they would stand behind me. What about you?
I don't feel a sense of loyalty. I just moved down here.
Sorry, it's just like how you just started. Like,
cause I'm like, I was just trying to get a word in, but I want to remember what I'm about to say, but I don't feel a sense of loyalty to my community because I haven't been here long enough to establish that. However, when I think of my loyalty, I think when it comes to community and loyalty, I look at that more so back home. I feel like I've created a sense of loyalty in Columbus. I created a sense of loyalty in Akron, where I'm originally from. But I will say this though, the relationships that I have built here in Georgia, I do find value in that, because even though I haven't been here that long and I kind of came back and forth, there's so much support here, which is why I love this city. I think you can go to an event today and you're bound to meet someone or connect with someone, and it just feels as though like my homie, my road dog, what it do? And so I do want to develop a more sense, but Georgia is so big, y'all. I don't be knowing where I'm at. Do you believe a person should give back to their community?
Yeah.
Do you feel like they should be obligated? Like that's something that you should do when you reach a certain point?
You're not obligated, but I do feel like it shows the people that are coming up like after you, like the younger generation, it kind of shows them like, when they can see somebody who has made it or grown or whatever the case may be, it's like, oh, my community, I don't know, it just gives a sense of pride and confidence. And I feel like a lot of people don't think, again, community is not big anymore. A lot of people don't think, like, you just moving around.
I think community is big. I just think that it's not as, I think the older you get, the easily you can forget that, because I feel like my one job, like the thing is, you could take initiative yourself. You could be the leader at your job and say, I'm not sure how big your job is, but be like, hey, we're trying to get a couple people together to go volunteer here. You have the choice to do that. I do feel a sense of obligation for me to, give back, and whatever that looks like I said, whether it's me donating clothes to a shelter or, volunteering my time. And I feel good when I do that. I genuinely do. It makes me feel good. I could be down, but I'm the type of person who wants to be around people, who wants to help out. And let me tell you, it was not easy sometimes, because people can be rude, even though you're being helpful. And that's just something you just know off rip. But, it just felt good. And even it could be something as simple as me, like the home shop that I did help out at, all we did was just serve food. And it's not just serve food, but the food was already done. All you had to do was just have a good day, enjoy yourself. Like, it was so simple. Like, they had people there to do some of the work you may not necessarily want to do, whether that's like washing dishes or whatever. All I had to do was just serve the food, and I think I can donate just a couple of hours. We spend so much time on social media looking at other people. You don't need to take a picture of what you do. I think it's just like instilling that in those that are around you. Go pick up your little cousin and be like, yo, today we're gonna go over here and do this. But there's always something going on. You just gotta do your research and look it up and intentionally be purposeful in how you spend your time and what you want to give back to, because I think we all got something we can be related to, whether it's mental illness, diabetes. Like, there's so many organizations that you can be a part of, and they need help. I can tell you that right now. They all need help. But speaking of, you had spoke about how you relocated from the South Side to the East Side. Mm-hmm. I think you kind of already talked about this, but how do you? I feel like I struggle with this because I did come from Akron. I've been kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I feel so pulled towards doing something everywhere, you know, because I got family there, I got friends here. How do you feel about like showing support when you have relocated? I mean, I think you creating this podcast is a start to that.
Well, like, okay, so even though like I'm on the East Side, I still make them. Remember how you was when we went to my cousin's birthday? He was like, it's 30 minutes drive to get. It's just like, that's where my people's at. You know, mm-hmm. I gotta. They don't. Ain't nobody coming to visit me. They ain't going out the way to come visit me.
Never coming.
But it's still like a matter of. Well, I'm not even gonna say that because my auntie came to my house, you know, when I needed her, and she was just like, "I'll come get you," and it's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I ain't got no gas money, girl. She was like, I ain't said you need gas money. And I'm like,
she funny. Her aunt's funny.
And I was just like, okay, girl, come get me then. You know? And then, so it was just like, my community got together and that was my community. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I needed it. I wanted it. It took my mind up. She made me laugh. Because my auntie is a character. Mm-hmm. But so it's like, you know, I do find ways to go back there. Like, they're still always going to be home to me. Like, my address on my driver's license still got a South Side address.
South Side.
Even though I have, let me not tell my business. Yeah, but I ain't been down there, like, living there in a minute. But I'm still always gonna be down there.
What prompted you to leave though?
Me just going to school. I knew I didn't want to go to school outside of Georgia because I don't know, just like I'm cool with being in Georgia. But I really feel like if I was to go back. Like back, I'm always going back because I want to like check on people, like see how y'all doing, y'all good, how things going, how such and such doing. That's what brings me back. It's like it's people there and they're doing pretty good, but it's just like they still on that side of town because it's kind of what they've always known. Mm-hmm. But it's just sometimes you do have to branch out, but again, you still got people that's there. Like you wanna show love and show that, hey, like it's more out here, but you can always come back and mingle.
Yeah, no, and it's so when you say it's more out there, you know, me and my dad has had this talk, and he was like, I'm never leaving my city. I got family here that love me, that'll be there for me during my worst of worst. And you know, even when I decided to move, it was never like, go for it. I mean, it wasn't like don't go, but it was like, well, why can't you do that here? And I was just like, I don't want to do that here.
It's like, oh, well, tell me how.
Well, I was already kind of working in my field there, so he was just like, well, you're kind of already here. Why don't you just do it here? And I didn't want to. I think Atlanta.
Because you just keep.
I know, girl. I think it's a nervous habit. I just always touch my hair. It's like I was like, why do you keep doing this? I was like, is it all there? Rapunzel. No, but. You know, it's different because you can just drive 30 minutes to go home. I would love that. But mine is like a 10-hour, 8-hour drive. So it's a little different. I get homesick very often. Sometimes I just want to be around those that I know. Like I can go down the street and run into Auntie Gina. I love Auntie Gina. But I would never run into her because she don't live there. But however, I would run to somebody's auntie or somebody's cousin, Pookie and them. And you know, end up hanging out with them that day. Didn't even plan on hanging out with them. I miss those kind of moments, like, as far as my community. And so it's like, Do you feel like when you get out of the hood, they say you get out of the hood to stay out of the hood?
No, because I feel like it's still something there that's gonna not pull you back in a sense, but there's still reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't make you, but it's a part of you, who you are. So you always want to. There where that homage word comes into play. Like you always want to give back to what made you, because again, somebody there could be looking for that one person to cross that path. You might even gotta cross them directly, but they see you and it's like, I want to be like that person. Like, I want to find more. And it's just one of those things where, people, it's you can still make a difference and make an impact just because you're not physically still in your community. Just dropping by sometime and showing some love. And it's not that I hate to bring it up, but a lot of rappers, like I'm talking about real hood rappers, not the little fake Instagram rappers, but a lot of hood rappers, they give back to their community. And they do it, whether they create football teams. I was gonna say basketball, celebrity basketball. Yeah, they do teams and stuff. They do fundraisers. They be out on the street doing the food raising in a lot of different ways, or just dropping a bag on like an event to get the kids outside and play and be safe. My best friend, she does a event. Her family does an event every year on the anniversary for her brother because he was murdered when we were in high school, where the whole community and stop the violence. That's the name of the whole thing. And it'd be police officers out there, and it'd be trappers out there. We all out there singing Kumbaya and good food, music, everything. It's a whole vibe and it's good energy, and it's our community where it's like, I ain't seen him since such and such, and oh wow, she got a baby now, and it's like, oh hey, like I don't remember you, but it's one of those things, and it's like it's a community thing where the community gets together, just to celebrate the life that we have out here, and thank God the kids out here and safe. So,
I think sometimes it can be felt that you have to do a lot, but you can start off with small. Like I said, try to find a nonprofit organization to either work at, or maybe figure out how you can be a part of their, be one of the board members. I think there's so much that sometimes I be wanting to do so much in my head. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like I've done my mental health events because I think it's important for us to, be on mentally. I think that's such a huge thing. And so I've always wanted to do more, but like I said, I think it starts off small and it can go big, like Benny said. But don't wait till the last minute. Don't do it because something has happened. Do it because you want to be preventive and you want to be proactive.
Because when you show support, you get support too. And
what's wrong, girl?
No, just making me think about stuff,
It's okay to think. Think, baby, think. But that's pretty much all I got for today.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Don't forget,
help us sister.
Okay, help us out. Follow us on Instagram. DM us on Instagram. Oh yeah, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Subscribe, y'all. We got 6 subscribers.
And thank y'all, but it's more than y'all than that listening to us. So subscribe.
What'd you say?
It's more than that listening to us.
No, yeah, I know. Well, yeah. Tell me more. You got more listening?
Yeah, but yeah, y'all listening. Watch us.
Right, subscribe. Y'all listening, subscribe so you can see my face.
Yeah, my husband got some makeup on.
But you looking like way back. Way. I am not my head.
I knew you was gone. All right, y'all. In the damn video.
Let's take a long walk.
Okay.
Across the at the dog. Don't you break nothing. Get up off here. All right, y'all. Peace out.
We're sisters. We're happy and we're singing and we're cool.
You're listening to Help a Sister Out podcast.
I'm Benelia.
I'm Tay. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Help a sister out.